Hey, Owls fans, welcome back to the Rice Unfiltered podcast. I'm Luke Mauro, pleased to be joined by Coach Edmonds here in just a moment on the women's side of things, as this will be sort of like the award ceremony show, an edition of this podcast. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube page so that you get these new videos as they come out every Wednesday, and also subscribe to wherever you get your podcasts as well for the audio-only version, which also comes out every Wednesday to keep you in the know on everything going on with Rice Athletics. We're gearing up to head out to the conference tournament this week for the women in Birmingham. Hopefully you'll come and join us. They'll get underway Friday evening in the semifinals. But here in the meantime, pleased to catch up with Coach Edmonds. Victoria Flores will join us in a little bit. Coach, thanks for joining us. And first off, let me jump right into it. Congratulations on being named Coach of the Year for the American Conference this season. Just what does that honor mean for you?
I mean, it's an incredible accomplishment, and I feel really blessed to receive that. But it's not just a me award. As a head coach, you're only as successful as the people that you surround yourself by. And I have surrounded myself with some of the best players, best coaching staff, best support staff. And so I wouldn't be able to do what I do without them all. And so I'm really thankful and really grateful to have them on my team and have them help me reach this award, because again, it may say my name, but it's a us award in my opinion.
I will ask you about Senior Day. I'll ask you about the conference tournament, but let's talk about these honors and these awards, and there's quite a few to go through. We'll catch up with Victoria Flores in a moment. She was named Player of the Year, so congratulations to Vic. Yeah, Player of the Year for the conference. Just talk a little bit about, as she listens over there, talk about the season that she had and that honor for her in the program.
Yeah, I'm so proud of her. What an incredible accomplishment. She has had a different look in her eye all season long, and she accomplished great things last year in her first year here. But I knew she wasn't satisfied with those, and I knew that she wanted to achieve more, and I knew she was capable of more. And it wasn't about honors or accolades for her. It was just about playing her best basketball. And so I felt like she really had a focus on being the best version of herself that she could be, not only on the offensive end, but also on the defensive end. That's where we've seen like such a big jump with Vic. She's really set the tone for our defense. Our defense wouldn't be where it is today or have the numbers that it has without Vic like setting the tone from the very top of the floor. And so just really, really proud of that growth that she has had. I'm thankful that, the coaches in the conference recognize that growth because, again, she set the tone for us, both sides of the basketball, and we wouldn't be Rice women's basketball without Vic Flores. So really, really proud of her. I think about her when we recruited her to come here after her first stop, and I texted with her yesterday or called FaceTime with her yesterday. It was like someone who had potentially lost the love of the game and questioned whether basketball was still the right route for her to now being Player of the Year in your conference and helping your team be a regular season champion and go 17-1 is pretty special. And I think that just shows how special she is.
Yeah, yes, certainly. And so we'll talk with her in a little bit, but what an incredible honor. Congratulations to her on the great year. You talk about growth. Well, then you have the most improved player in Shelley Hayes. And I asked you about this one of the games recently, but, she went from playing like 11 minutes per game last year to being one of the top players in the conference this year. So, I mean, just what have you seen? It's obviously she's a great story. What have you seen from Shelley here in her time here where she's gotten to the point now as a senior most improved in the conference?
Yeah, just her work ethic. She wants to get better at all times. She's constantly with Coach Danny watching film. She is working on her game on the court. She wants to do whatever it takes to win. And she wants to do that for the program. And, she went down in the game on Saturday and she came back right to me in like a minute. She's like, I'm good. I'm like, go sit down for just another minute more. Right. And so she just wants to be out there. She wants to be helping, the will to do whatever it takes, the will to be ready when your number is called, whether that's at the time or on the year, like whatever it is, like Shelby's like stepped up to that challenge. But I'm really, really happy for her. what a story of, maybe your first 3 years versus injuries or adversities not going the way you want, but you trusted in the vision, you trusted in our program, you trusted in our staff, and then you're getting to have these flowers your senior year. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, certainly. We've talked throughout this year a lot about how good the starting five is. And then, as you've mentioned multiple times, just that boost that Luann gives off the bench for you. And she was honored and named 6th Player of the Year for the conference. So congratulations to her. We need to add in like a confetti and post here. And
every time.
Yeah, that's right. and the award music and everything. But congratulations to Luann on the honor. What does she bring to this team coming off the bench for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's power off the bench. She gives us just that burst of energy. She puts us into another gear. The way she plays, the tempo and pace she plays at is really, really incredible. You can't teach that. You either have it or you don't, and she has it. And she wants to win, and she wants to do whatever it takes to win. When I told her yesterday, she she could not believe it. She actually told me to shut up in a very, very nice way. But also another young lady who just really wanted to play basketball at her previous place, didn't get to play a lot of minutes, and wanted to be valued and wanted to be able to impact the game. And that was really important to her on her recruiting visit, was knowing that she could be valued, knowing that she could be an impact player. And I told her from the beginning that she could get this award, and here she is getting this award. And so that's really, really an honor to her and to her hard work and to her, again, belief and trust in a vision. Because as a transfer, you may think if I'm going somewhere, I want to start. But Lou came into a place where we had a starting point guard who also on her visit sold to Lou, I need you, I want you here, come here. And that doesn't happen often either, because players don't often want someone to come that could take their minutes or could take their shots. And Vic was an intricate part in us getting Lou. And so Lou came and has been a huge part of our success despite not starting. And I'm glad that she was able to receive this award.
Yeah, also on the all-newcomer team for the conference as well. On the all-conference team, you have Victoria Flores, Dominique Ennis, Shelby Hayes as well. But I want to ask you about Haley Adams, who I know you made the push for defensive player for the conference previously. She does get named to the all-defensive team, and I ask you about Haley every week, but just, what did she bring to the table this year, specifically on that defensive end that allowed her to be added to the all-defensive team for the conference?
Yeah, I mean, she can guard 1 through 5, and she has guarded 1 through 5 in our games because of the way we play, because of the style. That's the way we, sometimes game plan defense against other opponents. And so she can guard 1 through 5. I think at some point she was leading the league in blocks. She might have dropped down to second in the blocks. She's second in rebounding. She gets steals, but she also can guard 1 through 5. And so that's an incredible advantage that we have. So we can play small ball lineup and she can guard a 5, or she can at the 4, and we can switch everything. And she can sometimes guard the 1, 2, and 3. So she's just so versatile, and she helps us hold down our defense. I mean, you and I have talked about how many games have been determined upon us getting stops at the end of the game. And oftentimes it's Haley coming up with the block, or Haley coming up with the stop, or Haley coming up with the rebound on the missed shot that has allowed us to get that stop. And so she's really, really intricate to our defense.
Well, those are the awards. I don't think I missed any of them, but there was a lot to get to.
Haley also got Ambassador Award for the conference.
Right, yep.
So that's also an incredible honor for her to be a KL servant leader, but then also to get the Ambassador Award for the conference for just noticing how great of a human being she is, how she dedicates time to making her community a better place. So really, really special for Haley as well.
Absolutely, yeah. Great on and off the floor, being honored both on and off the floor. All the awards for Rice because of this great season they've had. Let me ask you about Senior Day, and not so much the game itself. I'll ask you about that in a moment, but more so just Senior Day in itself, where you honor 4 seniors, the aforementioned Haley Adams, Kennedy Clifton, Dominique Ennis, Shelby Hayes. Just what was that experience like? I know the game didn't go as hoped, but the whole day of honoring those players, what was that like?
I mean, first of all, we got to celebrate 4 young ladies who have been here for 4 years. In today's day and age, that's not found at many places. There's oftentimes people don't have any seniors, or there's times that people have 6 seniors that have all only been at that place for 1 year. And so for us to be able to celebrate 4 players that have been here for 4 years, that means they came in believing in a vision that this program had. And we got to celebrate them because they trusted in that vision. They stayed true to the course. And they've impacted Rice women's basketball in such a major way. Like all the things that we have accomplished in their 4 years, they've been part of that. They've been an intricate part of that. And so it's an incredible story just in itself. But I'm really, really proud of that group. They've all battled adversities and they've all overcame that. They feel like babies. They were my first ever full recruiting class. They were ranked 31st in the country when we recruited them, and here they are going out as seniors and champions with an S on the end, right? Regular season tournament champions, set program records, top 10 in scoring, most improved players, ambassador awards. Kenny Clifton's been overseas 3 times now with Rice at some capacity. Just talk about an amazing 4 years. So really, really special.
Yeah, certainly.
Lots of tears.
Yeah, I could imagine. It's always an emotional day. I know the game didn't go as planned, and by the way, only conference loss of the regular season, 17-1 finish in the American, 14-1 finish at home. But, college coach used to say to me that a team becomes a lot more coachable after a loss. And that's not to say that this team wasn't coachable before. But my question being, do you think that as we sit here, full transparency on Monday before heading to the conference tournament, do you think that there will be an even larger focus and motivation factor for this team after that loss now heading into the conference tournament?
Yeah, I mean, trust me, I hate losing. I hate losing more than I like winning, and I love to win. But if it was going to happen, I would have much rather it been Saturday than this Friday or this Saturday. And I believe wholeheartedly that this team will use this as fuel to their fire to make sure that we don't feel that way again. And if you would have told me a year ago that we were going to be 17-1 in conference, I would have said, sign me up, right? But still, that doesn't take away that one loss hurt very deeply. There's a lot of unhappy people in that locker room. And so I believe wholeheartedly this group, they will commit to whatever mission I ask them to commit to, just like they have to TNT all season long. I believe that they will commit to using this as fuel to their fire. I believe that it'll make them pay even more attention to the small details. I believe it'll push them to go that much harder in these practices preparing for conference tournament because none of us want to feel the way that we felt on Saturday either again. So if it had to happen, I'm thankful that it happened on Saturday. And I just believe that this team will bounce back. The last time we lost, we ran off 22 straight. And so we can definitely run off 2 straight as long as we continue to do the things I know this team is capable of doing.
Which will lead me to, we've kept you here long, but before I let you go, I do have to ask you about the conference tournament. And hopefully people watching and listening can come out and actually join us in person in Birmingham. But what is it like this week to get ready for the conference tournament? Going in as the 1 seed, you'll play for the first time Friday evening. Just what is this week like in terms of the preparation and the travel and getting ready for this conference tournament this weekend?
Yeah, I mean, we break the season up into 3 seasons, right? So your first season was non-conference, and then you have conference, and now you have tournament postseason is like your 3rd season. And so everybody's going in 0-0. Even though we're as a number 1 seed, everyone is going in with their record being 0-0. And so I think our focus still remains the same as TNT today, not tomorrow. We have to make sure that after these couple of days off on Tuesday, we have our best version of practice that we possibly can have. And then Wednesday, we have another great practice. And then Thursday, we have another great practice. And Thursday night, we find out who we play. And then we shift our mental focus to making sure that we're as prepared as we possibly can be for that opponent. Obviously, we played a lot of these teams twice or maybe only once on the season, so there is familiarity. But we got to jump very quickly Thursday night into preparing for that specific opponent. But leading up to that, the preparation is respecting the tournament, respecting whoever we play, respecting the work that we have put in, and trying to just be the best version of Rice women's basketball that we can be, just like we have all season long. Different place, different state, different court, but this team has shown up no matter where we've been. We've been on the road in places that we have never won before, and this team found ways to get those wins. And so they've been pretty similar on home court, but also neutral courts and also opponents' home courts too. So just TNT as we go into the tournament.
Yeah, certainly, which for Rice begins Friday evening in the semifinals, 6 p.m. Central Time. So we'll have it for you on the radio side beginning at 5:45 Central Time Friday evening as the tournament gets underway this week. Coach, congratulations on the Coach of the Year honor.
Thank you.
And just a great regular season as well. And best of luck this week in the conference tournament.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
That's Coach Edmonds, Coach of the Year for the American Conference. Her Owls are getting ready for the conference tournament this Friday evening as they defend the regular season 1 seed there for the conference. We'll come back and catch up with the Player of the Year for the conference. Victoria Flores will join us next here on the Rice Unfiltered podcast. Back on the Rice Unfiltered podcast, and pleased to be joined by Victoria Flores now from the women's basketball team, who is the Conference Player of the Year this season for the American. Appreciate you joining us, and congratulations on that great honor. We just talked to your coach about it, but what does it mean for you to be named the Player of the Year for the American Conference this year?
Yeah, first, thank you. Thank you for having me. Honestly, I guess the award wasn't something that I was working for. I mean, we were all just playing for one another, playing to win and playing because, I mean, we love each other. So I guess it just feels good to be recognized.
Yeah, certainly. How did you first find out that you were the winner of that you were named the Player of the Year for the conference?
Yeah, I was actually at treatment yesterday, and Coachy FaceTimed me and was like, "You did it." And I was like, "What did I do?" She's like, "You won Conference Player of the Year," and that's how I found out at treatment.
When I worked in baseball, we were always curious whenever someone got called up to the big leagues. Who was that first phone call to? What was that conversation like? So for you, when you first found out, who was the first text or the first phone call? What was that first conversation, and what was that like?
I immediately called my family group chat. It's called the Fab Five, so I had to call that right up, and I don't know, I think I just smiled on the phone for a good 10 seconds, and they were like, "Hello?" And I was like, "I just won Conference Player of the Year," and they were like, then we all just froze. And yeah, they were really happy, and of course my mom can't hold water. She went and ran and told the whole Dallas.
The whole area now knows. Victoria Flores, Conference Player of the Year, also all conference, but that's just part of, as we talked with Coach Edmonds, part of all the awards and the honors for this team. And Coach brought up the interesting anecdote of bringing in Luann, who was named the 6th Player of the Year for the conference, and how you played a big role in that. So since we have you here on the couch, let me ask you about that. What was that process like for you, where you seemingly wanted to make sure she came and joined this program and played alongside you? What was that all like for you to make sure she came here?
Yeah, I really wanted Lou to know that I needed her. And I do need her, and I'm glad that she's here. We're all very glad that she's here, and she's my best friend. And we talk about it all the time. We're always like, like a year ago, I was kind of like over here in the world, and you were over there, and we didn't know each other existed, and now we can't live without each other. Like, it's so weird. We always laugh about that. It's just like, yeah, sometimes I start talking to you about stuff that happened in my life before you were in my life, and then I have to remember that you don't know what was going on in my life at that time. So we didn't just recruit another player. Coachy does a great job of recruiting great people, and I mean, the bond that we've talked about all year, it's definitely there.
This might be a hard question to answer, but I've even asked Coach Edmonds about this earlier this year, because off the court, and people listening or watching now can see, you're such a kind-hearted person, but on the court, you're a bit of a bulldog, and I mean that in the best way possible. Where does that competitiveness come from, where when you're on the floor, you're almost like a different person out there?
Yeah, I am. That's not Vic.
Alter ego?
Yeah, it's my alter ego out there. It's not me. A lot of people are always like, they hear me talk and they're kind of like, it's not the same person that was on the court. You're right, it's not. So I don't know, it just kind of flips. Yeah.
Well, certainly it's working for you, obviously, Player of the Year. As we get ready for the conference tournament this week in Birmingham, I mean, what is this week like for you, just from emotions perspective? Are you excited? Are there some nerves? Are you looking forward to getting back out there on Friday? What's this whole week like from a player perspective?
Yes, I can say that us playing at the end of the week, it kind of feels like we have a bye week. So definitely resting the body, getting treatment, make sure we're in the cold tubs, but also staying focused and knowing that, yes, we don't know who we're going to play yet, but knowing that it's going to be somebody, and that's probably the hardest part, is we don't know yet, but knowing that we have to stay locked in no matter who it is.
You seem to improve as the year went on. Obviously statistically, and the points became higher, and the shooting percentages improved, and the steals increased. For you, can you try to put your finger on that? Was it just a case of getting into that mid-season form? Was it the case of maybe working on something in particular during practice or whatnot? Can you try to pinpoint what allowed you to continue to get better as the year went on?
Yeah, absolutely. Honestly, I knew my team needed me. And I hate to let them down. And I knew I had to pick it up, and I was confident in the work that I've put in during the summer, all the years before, all the workouts, everything, all the extra shots. I knew I had it in me. I know I have it in me, and my teammates did too, and they expect it from me, and I'm going to give my teammates everything that I can.
What was senior day like for you as a player and a teammate? I know if people can go on Instagram or go on social media and see the great letter that you wrote for Dom that she read. But what was that like? Obviously, you'll have the opportunity to continue to practice and play with those teammates, but it is their senior year. Eventually, it will end at some point. So what was that like to be able to honor those teammates and friends of yours this past weekend for senior day?
I'm so thankful. I'm so blessed to have them all in my life. And this is aside from basketball. They are all amazing people. They're all very different, but very similar in the way that they all love and care for everybody, the next person standing next to them. And it was really hard on senior night knowing that they won't be here next year. And it was really hard to try and stay in the moment and focus on that day, which is what we've been doing all season. But it was definitely an emotional day, and I'm going to get emotional right now. I don't want to see them go. I don't. But I know that they have their lives to start, and I know they're excited for that portion of their life. Yeah,
certainly. And obviously still more games to be played, so it wasn't the final send-off for those players just here at Tudor Fieldhouse. Going into the conference tournament now, as mentioned, for Rice it begins Friday night in the semifinals in Birmingham. What would you say needs to be done this week or needs to be done by the team moving into the tournament to make sure you guys continue to accomplish all the goals that you set forth at the beginning of the season?
Mm-hmm. Again, just staying focused and staying present, one day at a time, one practice at a time, and just knowing, again, that we don't know who we're playing yet, but we're going to be playing somebody, and we need to prepare like we're playing for a championship, because we are.
You mentioned you're getting treatment, which is normal. Of course, you do that throughout the season. But after a long season like this and the way you play on both ends of the floor and the minutes, just how do you feel physically after the regular season?
I feel good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Ready to go. Easy enough. She's Victoria Flores. Congratulations on being named Conference Player of the Year for the American, also named to the All-Conference team as well. Let me ask you one more question, actually, because Coach Edmonds brought this up about when you first came here to Rice and how you were maybe feeling about basketball at the time. How much has changed for you in just the 2 years here with this Rice program?
It's night and day. Honestly, my first year here was night and day. I didn't recognize the person I was, definitely didn't recognize the player I was. I doubted myself all the time. I allowed coaches to get in my ear and tell me things like, you'll never play at this level. You're just a kid off the street, like things that I know that I'm not, but it was a very hard year for me mentally and physically with injuries and surgeries, but I would say just don't ever quit, because I almost did. And if I did, none of this would have happened. God is always on time, and that's all I can say.
And the corny line I use at the end of wins or close wins is "All's well that ends well." So there you go. All's well that ends well here for you and the Owls. Victoria, appreciate you joining us once again here on the podcast. Congratulations on the honors and best of luck in the conference tournament.
Thank you so much.
That's Victoria Flores, Conference Player of the Year for the American this year. Congratulations to her and all of her teammates on the different honors, the accolades, and just the great regular season. 27 victories, 17 in conference, 14-1 at home, and now trying to keep it rolling in Birmingham this week with the conference tournament. Friday night in the semifinals, 6 p.m. Central Time tip-off. In the meantime, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel here, or if you're listening, subscribe wherever you get your podcasts so you can get the latest versions of this podcast every Wednesday. For Coach Edmonds, Victoria Flores, everyone behind the scenes that makes this all possible, I'm Luke Mauro. We'll talk to you next time here on the Rice Unfiltered podcast.